Hi fans, and welcome to this Week 5 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. Woodland Hills is now 3-1 on the season and 2-1 in the Southeast Conference after last week's victory at Plum. We're going to sit down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak to talk about this week's game here at the Wolverina against Mount Lebanon. We'll also take a look back to last week's victory over the Mustangs as well. We'll also let you know where you can tune in to this week's game all across the Woodland Hills Football Network. That and more as the pregame show rolls on right here on WHHS TV.
Shotgun again. The Plum with sidecar to either side. Two receivers right, one to the far boundary left. Hand off to Harry Randall, and Randall speaks through tacklers. Still finding his way through inside the 10, brought down after 8.
Again, we thank you for joining us for this Week 5 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. We're now sitting down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak. And Coach Novak, before we talk about this week's game against Mount Lebanon, let's take a look back to last week's victory at Plum. You've got to be thrilled with the way that first half went.
We had a great first half against Plum on the road, and you never underestimate anybody. In fact, the last 2 weeks against Bethel Park and Plum, our boys have played really well in the first half, both ending at 35-0 Woodland Hills. So we're elated the way we're playing to open up games, and we're going to need another good first half to compete against Mount Lebanon this week.
Coach, on the offensive side of the football, it really seemed like a very balanced attack. Cody McClellan pushed the ball around to a bunch of different receivers, plus the running game worked very well. You distributed the ball to Daquan White, Harry Randall, and of course Miles Sanders got his first touchdown.
Offensively, we have a lot of different weapons, and we don't want any team that we're playing down the road to focus on one person and try to take one thing away from us. So we try to utilize all the personnel offensively. We have a number of athletes that are fast, a number of athletes that can catch. The line's getting better every week. You got to have the line blocking in order for all those pieces to work together, and they've done a great job the last couple weeks. Skilled-wise, they're all getting better. Harry made a couple nice plays. Tom made some nice catches. Cole made some nice catches. Trayvon made some nice catches. Daquan made some nice runs. So we're kind of mixing it up and trying to utilize all the personnel and keep the other teams on their toes.
Talk about Miles Sanders.
Oh, I forgot Miles, our freshman. Yeah, Miles has been getting better every week to play at this level and at this speed and at this physicality coming in from ninth grade, or being in ninth grade early. And this week he made a very nice run, 44 yards for a touchdown, aided by a great block by Tom Green downfield. But he's got a lot of speed, and we're going to use him, get him in more and more into the offense.
Coach, on the defensive side of the football, it was a very strong, full-team effort, but Dante Broadus came in there, played for Alex Beasley, really stepped up, and as a matter of fact, he was our player of the game just because of how well he stepped in there at the starting linebacker spot.
Yeah, Dante's been getting better every week too, and he didn't play the first game, he played the last three, and each week he got better. This week, Alex wasn't able to play. Dante picked it up a notch. He was definitely all over the field. He was noticeably making tackles from sideline to sideline, and he made some great plays on special teams. He definitely had a great game, and a number of guys defensively, Bruce Curry, Jawan Turner, they made some great plays. Deshaun Osbrooks, his whole entire secondary. Khalil Harper made a great interception. So, yeah, they were all involved, but Dante definitely stuck out. He made a lot of tackles.
Coach, you mentioned Deshaun Osbrooks. He had the interception return for a touchdown, and that's the second consecutive week with the defensive touchdown. How much of a spark does that give your offense to know that your defense can put points on the board?
Deshaun has had a good year also on special teams, and he's in a rotation at linebacker with Dante and Alex in the middle there. All three of them are playing very well, but he had a great game up at Plum also, and he really read the pass out in the flat. He got out there, picked it off, and ran it for 6 points. We had 2 picks in the game, and both of them set up scores. Well, one was a score. The second one was by Khalil Harper, the second play of the game, put us on the 10-yard line, and we were able to punch it in from there. But the defense has been giving us great field position, getting turnovers, especially the last 2 games. Defense and special teams have played outstanding. So, we get a lot of people involved. A lot of guys are going both ways, but we use a lot of different people on defense and offense and on special teams. So I think, they're all getting more and more experience, and I think, with a lot of young kids on the team, experience any way to get so on Friday nights.
You take on Mount Lebanon this week, Coach, a team that you beat in the playoffs back in 2010 in a very memorable game at Baldwin High School. Then last season, Mount Lebanon bumped the Wolverines out of the playoffs. So clearly your team now has a bit of a mindset of revenge. Plus it's a conference game, which makes it even that much bigger in the regular season.
Adam, I'm not, me, I'm not much of a revenge type coach. We take every game one at a time. We prepare every game like it's the most important game on the schedule, because it is. It's a game you're playing this week. And Mount Lebanon has a great tradition, a great program. They got a new coach this year. I think the most important thing, it's a conference game. And they're 3-0 in a conference, and we're 2-1. And, so if we want to move up in the conference, we got to go through them. And, they're coming to the Wolverine. They got a great football team. Should be a great game.
What specific challenges are you going to face with Mount Lebanon? They've had, a bunch of different kinds of talent over the years, some passing, some running. What do they look like this season?
Mount Lebanon, with a new coach, several new coaches are coming in with a new offense, a new defensive look, and a new enthusiasm like you get when you get a new coach. I think their strengths, their quarterback, he's a passer, he's a runner. I think he and Cody are pretty close as far as stats, completions. They're within 1 or 2 yards, touchdowns. And one of the amazing facts is that in 4 games, neither quarterback has thrown an interception. So, knock on wood. I don't care if they throw one, but Cody's been doing a real good job picking his receiver. So that's one comparison. And, this will be a big challenge for both of them, because they are pretty even, and they're 2 of the top quarterbacks in Quad A. They have a couple good receivers, just like us, so we have some similarities there. They got good height at the receiver position in the defensive backfield. They're a little bigger than us on the offensive and defensive lines. But other than that, they're more of an I formation team. We're more of a spread type offense this year. And, because of our personnel, it's been working well for us. They will spread you out. They do like to pass the ball. And, like I say, they have a great punting game, too. Great punting game. So we got our hands full.
Coach, over the past couple of weeks, we've talked about some of the Woodland Hills alumni that play in the NFL. Let's talk about one in the college ranks, and not even at the Division I college ranks. Rontez Miles, he's a member of the Cal Vulcans, one of the top 20 teams in the nation. They took on IUP, also one of the top 20 teams in the nation. Rontez had a great game, including a big fumble recovery. Talk about Rontez.
Rontez Miles is probably one of the best football players that ever played at Woodland Hills. He's a fantastic athlete. He had a great career here. Some people called him the best player in the state that year. Coach Wanstead said that, and big 33 player, just a great player. And, he's doing a great job down at KLU, playing defensive back. Many people consider him in the top 10 safeties in the country to be recruited or drafted next spring. So we're excited about him and his future. And Noah Taylor, Jason's brother, played defensive end. He also played the game against IUP. Bruce Atkins plays for IUP, another Woodland Hills alumni. So it was a great game. Came down to the wire, and it was IUP had a 1-point lead. And Cal got the onside kick, and we were able to make a field goal to win the game at the buzzer. So it was a great game.
Coach, it's always great to see the alumni doing well no matter what level it is, whether it's Division II, Division III, Division I college football, or even in the NFL. Thanks a lot for your time this week, Coach, and we'll talk to you again next week before the game at the Baldwin Highlanders. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, more of the pregame show here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Again, fans, we thank you for joining us for this Week 5 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. Don't forget you can tune into this week's game live on the radio on AM 1550 WLFP, on the web at woodlandhillsfootballnetwork.com, thanks to msasports.net. We'll also have live cable radio coverage on Verizon Fios Channel 37. We'll have our live TV coverage on Monroeville Comcast Cable Channels 4 and 13. Penn Hills Comcast Cable Channel 98, and as always, we'll have video replays on all of our television affiliates. For everybody at Woodland Hills Television, I'm Adam Gusky, and we'll see you next week.